entitlement when it comes to food. I learned this from my bodybuilding coach, D. Jackson, in Charlotte, North Carolina. I never thought about myself as being entitled to food. Entitled to food. That sounds ridiculous, but if you think about my actions back in the day, they were. I would go to sleep early one night, like, oh, I'm tired, after eating a big bag Chick-fil-A or something like that. And I just, like, get zonked out because I got the itis. And then in Wendy's, Wendy's used to do it to us all the time. Because at Wendy's, we would go and we would get a burger, we would get a fry, we would get nuggets as an appetizer. I'm talking about my sister and I. And then we would also get a nice little sweet, maybe a Frosty. So after that meal, getting whatever I wanted, because most people, no offense to the brokies in the room, no shade, no tea, 74% of Americans are overweight, most of America, and the average American doesn't have $1,000 in their bank account in case of emergency. So most of us, big and broke. It's a correlation there, right? We tend to spend a lot of money on food. Either way, so when, personally, I didn't have a lot of money, it felt good that the thing that I could afford was food. I could afford to go to McDonald's. I could afford Chick-fil-A. I couldn't afford a trip to New York. I couldn't afford a trip to Miami. I couldn't afford a trip to Paris. I couldn't afford a new car. I couldn't afford a nice house. I couldn't afford a couch. I couldn't afford things that cost more money and took more time to build up a reserve. But I could afford a 4 for $4. Could afford a biggie bag. So that aided to my entitlement as well. But I would go to sleep, and then if it was 10 o'clock, I would wake up and say, I'm starving. What I got to taste for? I'm about to go to cookout at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, midnight. Just wake up, get up out of that bed. Nowadays, we DoorDash. And say, what do I have a taste for? And I would go to cookout, and I would get a sandwich, a burger. I'll take a quesadilla and a milkshake. And I'll get it, go back to the house and eat it in the bed. Because I could. I felt entitled to food. Even if it was my last $20, I would call my bank. I would see how much money was in my bank account. And then I would still order $13 worth of food. If I could kind of afford it, I would have it. It's no different than a person with an addiction. So, yeah, that was my entitlement to food. But tell me about yours. Tell me about how you woke up this morning and decided you wanted Starbucks. So you went to go get your favorite matcha latte. Tell me how you woke up this morning and decided that Dunkin' Donuts, 2 donuts and a croissant was a good meal for you. That's not normal. That's not normal. What's normal is saying, you know what, wow, I would love a Birkin bag, but I can't afford a Birkin bag. I'm going to have to work a little bit harder for it. What's not normal is cashing out your 401k and your kids and your retirement fund and your kids' college fund to buy a Birkin bag. That's not really normal. That's not really normal. You don't have the money for it. You know that. So you wouldn't go buy one. But when it comes to food, we tend to have $10 or $20 for it, so we get it every single time. We feel entitled. Click my username.